This is episode number 540 of the InnerFight podcast. Welcome back to another edition of the show, and a big shout out to our show sponsors, Smith Street Paleo. Please do hop over to smithstreetpaleo.com. Check out meal plans, check out recipes, check out food that doesn't destroy your body but helps you to perform better. I've been eating this food. Yes, I know it's my wife's company, but I've been eating this food for about the last 5 years and feel awesome, great energy level. So why not hop over there, smithstreetpaleo.com, and check it out. Welcome back to another edition of the show, folks. And today I have with me Abeer Alkhaja, who is someone who I find incredibly inspiring for what she is doing within her community. And I'm going to ask her loads of quite interesting questions today about stereotypes that we see related to Emirati females, related to females generally in sport, and the religious, traditional, and cultural issues that we see around that. Hopefully she'll give us some really interesting answers and insights. No matter what she says, she's a very inspiring and very interesting woman. So I'm looking forward to chatting to her, and I really hope you guys enjoy the show. Welcome back to the show, folks, and thanks a lot for everyone joining in. As I said there in the introduction, this show I'm super excited about because my guest today is going to talk straight to us. She's heavily involved in all things fitness here in the region. And I just briefed her before. I'm going to ask her some questions that she might not want to answer. No, it's not like that at all. Abeer, you're in and amongst the sports community like no one I know.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
you really are. So first off, thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks
But secondly, and where I really want to start is, what was sport growing up? How have you developed this passion for sport? Give us the whole backstory, because I think that's interesting for people.
Well, Marcus, thanks for having me, first of all, and I'm happy to be on this episode with you. I actually didn't grow up playing sports at all.
Oh,
So
here we go.
the first time I ever worked out was when I was 26.
Right.
And even as a child, never went swimming or cycling just because I had eczema. So a lot of allergies, and eczema is sort of an allergy that is from the heat or sun.
Yeah.
So I wasn't allowed to play outside a lot. So I spent a lot of time indoors,
No way.
focused a lot on academics. When I grew up, started meeting people at work and at university, always had a passion for volunteering. So it was
Right.
about Ramadan, 6 years ago, or however long ago that was. And we were volunteering, handing out meals to some of the workers or laborers around around the city.
Yeah.
And it was before iftar, and we were fasting, and Ramadan was in August at that time.
Right.
I think I stayed in the sun or under the sun for about 5 minutes when I started to feel faint.
Yeah.
And had to go back inside, or just couldn't do any volunteering, and it killed me. It was like it's like I love to volunteer, and I've never done it while fasting.
Right.
So it was such a wake-up call for me. I was like, no, I can't let this happen. What if I go volunteer somewhere abroad? I can't let this happen.
Yeah.
So then I went to the doctor, and he suggested that I start training. So I started to train with a trainer 3 times a week. Was the most difficult thing I ever did, probably.
And this was when you're like 25 years old?
25, 26, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very late. So
Wow.
what I want to say is also that amongst our culture, or between us at least, girls at that time,
Yeah.
going to the gym was not something that we had as part of our lifestyle.
Yeah,
and
right.
That's completely changed, and we can touch up on that later.
Yeah.
But it was mainly like going out, movies, going shopping. There wasn't a lot of talk about going to the gym unless you were sporty and you were part of a team, like a basketball team or a football team, and so on.
So
yeah.
is that it's not a stereotype, but it's very common, like you said. It's not in, and you've gone there straight away, so let's jump into it, and then I want to come back to that handing out food in Ramadan, because I think that's something that just shows what a nice-natured person you are. But how deep in your culture is not doing sport as a female when you're growing up?
Well, I can't speak on behalf of everyone.
Sure.
However, in my personal experience, people around me did not go to the gym.
So it's not normal.
It's not normal. So I had no idea like what sort of what sports can do for you, for your confidence, for your physical, capabilities and everything else, even mentally. So I think it is quite common.
Yeah.
And when I started going to the gym, I met other girls like me who wanted to do it maybe for various reasons, for losing weight, for maybe something else, and a goal or something that they're passionate about. But through the gym and through training and through sports, so I have to tell you, like Marcus, when I started at the gym, it was just training, in the gym with a personal trainer, to trying kite surfing. I don't know what I was thinking because I couldn't even do a pull-up at the time.
Really?
And into boxing and into like soccer and into, I don't know, we even tried motocross at some point.
No way.
So it was like, I wanted to try everything because how could I have missed all this for so long?
See, this is what I also wanted to ask you. I've got so much that I want to ask you, but when you finally maybe found sport, you're like, wow, sport is so broad and so much. Let's talk a little bit about the environment then. So you're growing up and you know that there's sports going on, but it's not what your friends are doing. It's maybe not what your family's talking about that you're going to do. Does that just become a norm? Does it become, are you okay with it? Or were you inquisitive? Did you look on the internet? Did you see? Or was it more of an acceptance? How did it go?
I don't even remember, Marcus, ever looking up sports. I mean,
Really?
Wow. I mean, I would go to classes maybe, or, when a new trend came up, for example, Zumba or whatever it was at that time.
Yeah.
The reason why I don't know, we are not surrounded by it is maybe because there wasn't a lot of exposure and social media transformed or changed that.
Yeah, right.
Played a big role.
Yeah.
So you started seeing people or women or anyone generally in sports sharing workouts from the house, in the park, in the gym. And this changed everything completely.
When is your first memory of that happening? Because I wanted to get to that as well, because I know that social media in everyone's culture, it's not just, it's everywhere. When did you first see someone maybe on social media post a workout or do something active and you were like, I should maybe be doing that?
To tell you that, I have to share just one more thing. It was 2013, end of 2013, and Dubai Fitness Challenge was launched.
Right.
Well, it was there already for men, but for women, it was the first year.
Right.
And they had it in a ladies-only environment in Dubai Ladies Club.
Yeah, I remember.
And that was the first experience I had, something close to maybe CrossFit or strength and conditioning. And after that, I figured out what CrossFit was, and that was my first experience with social media and sports and training.
So 2013.
2013. I looked up CrossFit and found these amazing women doing these amazing things. And I'm like, my God, she can walk on her hand, but she can also lift weights, and she can run, and she can swim. And I was just amazed.
As I say, I have so many questions, and hopefully we can get them all in. And we're jumping around a little bit, but you get there 2013, and you're part of a competition. It was for the ladies in Dubai Ladies Club. You see it on social media. You must have been excited.
Super excited.
Did you talk about it to your family before? Is there a level of approval? Do you need to say, Mom, I'm going to go, like, not approval, but it's your mom. You want to talk about it. How does that pan out?
So Mom has always been supportive in regards to training. She was a little bit more cautious maybe when I was younger. Yeah. And that's what moms do, right? They protect you from anything, any harm. However, whenever I would want to go to the gym, even spending 2-3 hours in the gym, she understands. She's not going to say no. My mom has a disc in her back, and she can't really, there's a lot of things she's limited or can't do, like, for example, drive, or, for example, sit for a long period of time. And she missed that sort of maybe training while she got the disc. Maybe it was bad advice from people, or she was being extra cautious, or that's what she was told. Before we didn't know a lot of things that we know now about physio and about training. For sure. So Mom has always been supportive. Dad as well. Dad's athletic, but he's more sort of into soccer, fishing, maybe some bowling. Strength training, yes, mom does have a little bit of, some concerns, but she understands. Like, thankfully, I'm careful. Thankfully, I've learned a little bit more about training, and I got certified myself. So she understands that it's quite an important part of my But it was definitely a change from like going to the movies to like starting to go to the gym.
Yeah. Let's hop back to those guys, that movie culture that we spoke about. Like, that's been almost traditional, can I say, for a long time within Emirati communities. And, you know, if we look more into Saudi Arabia as well, like what the guys are doing there and girls are doing there, when they don't have it, they create their own entertainment. Like, what was your perception of that growing up? Was that just normal, and was that okay?
I wouldn't, it depends. For example, there are a lot of families here. I was raised in a way where everything is acceptable. However, just there were limits and boundaries. So I think we all grew up around that, but it depends on the set of boundaries that has been set or that you have. Yeah. So it's So going out, entertainment, listening to music, maybe hanging out with friends. Things that we take for granted might not be the same for a colleague of mine or a friend of mine. For sure. Or someone in another country. It differs.
Was it fun?
It was fun.
It's
always fun.
So you're still having a good time. So, and this is where I think where we get to quite fast, is that you didn't feel like you were missing something from life. Like, it's cool. You go and hang out at the mall. You're with your friends. Agreed. This is life.
I do struggle though, Marcus, and I'm always like, if I could go back to, when I was 20 or younger and I could run, I would do that, because I struggle now with that.
Your only regret is that you didn't start earlier.
Exactly.
Let's flick back and let's continue on the journey. So you enter this sort of CrossFit competition. It's Dubai. It was called Dubai Fitness Challenge back then, wasn't it? Yeah, you're absolutely right. And now we know Dubai Fitness Challenge is the 30-30, which is quite different. So you get in there, you start looking on social media, you're like, wow, this is amazing. You said it, ladies walking on their hands, doing all sorts of stuff. What was your thoughts then? You must have been like, I just want to do everything.
Honestly, yes, because I hadn't done anything, and it was about CrossFit, a big part of that. And at that time, Marcus, we didn't have any ladies only classes. Right. So I used to train with my trainer, who was maybe not certified in CrossFit, but knows about strength and conditioning. Right. Getting me there, you know. Yeah. Using the rower was difficult. Yeah. You know, knowing how to sprint or run on a certain pace was difficult. Really? Doing a push-up was difficult. So at that time, we were just building the foundation, not even doing proper CrossFit. Yeah. It was only the next summer, like around 6 months later, where one of the CrossFit gyms offered a ladies only time. Right. And we had a lady trainer at that time. Wow. So I was like, oh my God,
this
guys,
is amazing.
This is like my opportunity, you know? Yeah. And so it was around 8 p.m. So the timings change in Ramadan. Yeah. So we train at night. And I remember training with the coach at that time. And I think it was something like deadlifts and burpees or something. Okay. And I remember that the next day, I could barely get up to pray because I was so sore. Really? Yes. So
first real sort of CrossFit style workout in Ramadan. Prayers are an important part, and poor Abeer can't even get up to pray.
I could barely get up. Yeah, and it was something that felt very different, very new. Although I've been training for a while, but feeling those sorts of that sort of soreness and those muscles being sore, it was a completely different.
It's funny, isn't it? It's like everyone we have on the show. I was speaking to the new coaches that we've got a few weeks ago in a show. I spoke to Lloyd and Minhal and Ricardo. And the funniest thing is all of them described their first CrossFit workout pretty much like you did. And they wake up the next day and they can't move and it's like hell. And then we continue to talk about how good CrossFit is and how it's amazing. And like anytime we have a bad experience of something, like you go to a restaurant and you don't have a good experience and you get food poisoning, so you're in bed the next day, you never go back to that restaurant. But with this thing called CrossFit and fitness, we've got food poisoning from this workout and we go and do it. Back. But I think that's something it speaks a lot of volumes about this form of fitness that we have. What was it like for the other girls that came to that class? 8 p.m. Ramadan, like I know, and I want to get to it. You're super outspoken on social media, and you're really motivating a lot of girls to do stuff. You must have been rounding them all up, getting them down there. What did they think?
It is with CrossFit itself. You just want to share it and talk about it and explain it to everyone you know. So at that time, I think I met those girls who are still my closest friends right now, or at the gym in that class.
Right.
So a lot of the girls around me, like I said, we're not used to going to the gym. Yeah. So I don't think they found it as exciting as I did. It was difficult to actually have that kind of conversation with them. Yeah. And whoever did come with me, I mean, maybe 2 or 3 are still coming to the gym and actually practicing CrossFit, but the rest just no.
They get too hard?
Yes. But I don't discourage them from doing what they love. So for example, if a girl loves yoga, let her do yoga. You know, do what you love, enjoy what you love. Yeah. For me, that started with CrossFit, and a lot of people are like, oh gosh, you know, like your fitness journey started with CrossFit, and I'm like, yeah. And it taught me like you got to be good at this and that, running and you know, like body weight workouts and lifting. It's not just one type of you know, like technique or sport or discipline. It's many, and I'm so grateful for that. So the girls who came with me, so one of them is Amna bin Bahar, who has been to regionals, I think, over 3 times, who won the Battle of the East last year, and who still continues to train. So Amna was one of the girls who I had to go to and be like, Amna, there's a ladies only class, you know, CrossFit class, let's go. And she was the one who started the fitness journey with me, and she's the one who continued.
So you two basically started at the same time?
Pretty much.
Amazing. Yeah. And because you knew each other outside and you motivated each other to go.
Yes.
That's incredible.
We met through the Dubai Fitness Challenge at that time.
At that time.
Yeah,
it was quite, it was quite, I think it was quite a shock that it was put on in 2013 for local ladies, wasn't it? And it was at Dubai Ladies Club, right?
It was at Dubai Ladies Club. It went on to until last year. We had a Dubai Fitness Championship for ladies, or Emirates Fitness Championship.
That's it. Yeah.
Yes. That's what's it called right now. But it started back in 2013, and it was great. Like it gave me the opportunity to test my limits, and I was so. So the first time I tried out the workout, if I do this workout now, it's our warm up. It's like a 1,000-meter row with 3 rounds of like sprints and dumbbell. I won't forget this workout, you know. So it wasn't a very hard workout, but for me at that time it was super hard. Yeah. And I failed to meet time cap the first try.
No way.
Honestly, and I still have the paper with me, you know, the judges. Yeah. So. I didn't give up. I kept going. I even sprained my ankle at that time, and I used to see the doctor before and after to tape me up and do some, you know, like physio. I'm like, I'm not stopping. I have to do this, you know.
So you got the bug through the fitness competition, and then through this class. But you've taken it to another level. Like you said, you've gone out and you've learned, you've got certified. Talk to us a little bit about how you've mixed that in with your life and followed your passion in that way as well.
So one thing that at that time I should have maybe said this, that I had a full-time job in the airline industry, and I worked actually for about 7 or 8 years in that company, and my profession was in revenue, or what I used to do was in revenue optimization. Right. So it was a completely different field than what I am in today. Today I am working at Dubai Sports Council. I got certified at that time when I found out what CrossFit was, and just wanted to, for myself, learn what it's about. Because I don't think it was random that this workout works out this way, or it's like, you know, there's a method behind it. So that's when I went in and got certified at level 1, and a few months later level 2, really? And then got into weightlifting with Elico, and then got certified in calisthenics as well through World Calisthenics Organization. And then finally got my personal training as well, certification. It took me about 2-3 years to do this.
But all of this whilst you were holding down a pretty decent job.
While I was working full time. Yeah. I had markets to look after. I had Far East, China, Hong Kong, and Japan and all to look after. Wow. And then that turned into Europe region, or moved to Europe region. So it was quite... I used to get asked a lot, like, how do you do this? And honestly, for me, Marcus, and you can relate, and a lot of us, all of the listeners can relate. we learned very early in training that you have to sacrifice some of your time.
Yeah.
You know, like an hour, wake up an hour earlier, you know,
Yeah.
or sleep 1 or 2 hours earlier at night,
Yeah.
so that you're able to do everything you want to do.
But this is the thing, sorry to jump in.
No worries.
Your culture, sorry to say,
Yes.
doesn't really lend itself to that. Like when I tell the local guys here at the gym that I go to sleep at 9 o'clock, they're like, Marcus, life is just starting at 9 o'clock. So you must have. I'm not saying it was hard all the time and there was a lot of red tape for you, but your friends must have been going, Abeer, like, what are you doing?
Honestly, yes.
You must have talked to us a little bit about that and what made you keep on this journey. What made you wanting to go to bed early, getting up early so you could do your training, so you could do your job?
So, for example, I'd see something on social media, or a friend does, like Amna does, or anyone else, a trainer.
Yeah.
And it's something so like simple, like, I don't know, it could be just a rope climb, maybe not so simple, but
Yeah.
it's not that difficult for an athlete to do. And for me, it was like, oh my God, in 6 months, this is what I'm gonna get.
Right.
You know? So I'm goal oriented.
Yeah.
That's my nature. I do love to set goals and achieve them. So I think if I fail, I wouldn't say that I would stop, but I'm gonna keep trying.
You'll figure out a way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's part of our culture or not. Maybe it is when it comes to like horse riding. I know that's a big sport, you know, amongst Emiratis or
Yeah.
in the Gulf.
Yeah.
Other things as well. But any athlete, anyone aspiring to set a goal or achieve a goal has to make these sacrifices. Why do we do it at work or at home and not do it in the gym?
Amazing.
So it was something that I learned from all the trainers that I spent time with, the athletes that I spent time with, the competitions that I watched, the literature that I read. It wasn't something I had to change my lifestyle, Marcus.
Right.
And I am part of this culture. So yes,
Yeah.
I agree. Like 9 p.m. to 2 a.m., you know, that's like the highlights of, you know, the day.
Yeah.
But it's not for a lot of people anymore.
Really?
We've changed that. I wake up now at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
or 4 a.m. to run at 6, you know, or 5:30.
Do you think there's a lot, you said just then, we've changed that. You're not on your own in this journey, right? Do you
Not
think
at all.
there's a lot of change in the younger people?
So why I did what I did, getting to that full-time job, but still training, still, you know, sacrificing going out with my friends or going out to see, you know, like colleagues, and instead training, is because I wasn't alone. I saw the girls around me. I saw the potential, Marcus.
Yeah.
There's so much potential
Absolutely.
in generally in sports here in the UAE. I just don't know if people realize it, but I saw that in people. I saw that in individuals,
Yeah.
and I wanted to be part of that movement. I wanted to
Amazing.
be part of that change.
Yeah.
I made a decision 3 years ago. I wanted to, as we were growing, women in sports, athletes, Emiratis in sports in general, there was a movement going on, and social media has a lot to do with that, honestly.
Yeah, I want to come to that in
Later
a little
on.
bit. Yeah, because I
Yes.
think that's something that's huge. But yeah, carry
So-
on and we'll get there.
So yes, I wasn't alone. There were a lot of girls just like me. It was a struggle. I'm not going to say there weren't any challenges. So finding a facility that has ladies-only classes or
Yeah.
more privacy for women to feel, you know, like they can come and train and try what we do. So I completely like used my, for example, whatever influence I had, or whoever I knew in the industry.
Yeah.
So I'd speak to, for example, a facility that offers MMA and tell them that, hey, I have a lot of girls interested in trying that. Can we just set up, for example, a 1 hour or 2 hour workshop for the girls to come and try?
Yeah.
They were like, absolutely. Why not? Same
Wow.
thing with motocross, same thing with running, same thing with fencing. I even tried, I don't remember, kite beach. Oh my God, the kite surfing.
Yeah.
That was, I never went back again.
Really? Just one time and that was it.
Oh my God.
But that's what I really admire about you, because you'll go out to these places and you'll say to owners of facilities, like, I've got a group of girls, just give us a chance to understand it.
Agreed.
And not everywhere you're going to go back. Like you say, kite surfing, you never went back, but you've been a driving force almost behind it, and you have your group and they're loyal to you, and it's amazing because you're giving them so much.
If we don't start, I don't think people realize there's a lot of things that people might feel that might be uncomfortable or not right in the culture, or sensitive maybe.
Yeah,
if I can say
sensitive's a good word. Yeah,
sensitive maybe to the culture or the way that we were brought up. However, it's give it a chance.
Yeah,
give it a chance.
Yeah.
A lot of these girls, unlike me, started being athletic when they were very young.
Yeah,
Reached to a certain age, like graduation, and didn't know what to do next.
Yeah,
I had a group of girls who were swimmers. And they're like, Abeer, we used to swim up to the point of like high school. And after that, we couldn't find a group of girls to swim with, like competitively, not just recreationally.
Yeah.
Or, for example, meets or championships, ladies only. So, and they're absolutely right. There isn't.
Yeah.
So trying to create that kind of culture or trying to continue to maybe inspire other women, you have to have these things in place.
Yeah.
We try.
Is there more things in place now? Do you find I know for example here at the gym for us, we've been asked a few times we need a ladies only class, no other guys in the gym, and I've lived here my whole life. I understand the cultural sensitivities, but unfortunately I can't really just close the gym at 6 p.m. when it's but I know a lot of other facilities have done that. Do you think there is, not just in CrossFit, but across a number of sports, do you think people are now thinking more, okay, this is a community that we want to interact with and we want to offer? Have you seen that, I don't know, any type of sport is now open to sort of Emirati women on their own with their own exclusive time?
Absolutely. I don't know if you know this, Marcus, but we have an ice hockey women's team in the UAE.
No way.
Honestly.
Unbelievable.
And they're good.
Are they?
I'm not going to say they're they're getting there,
Right.
They're young, they're ambitious, they're amazing. I met them last year and I was just like, wow.
Really?
What I do is nothing compared to what these girls, probably go through with training and with studies and abroad. They actually go out to meet abroad and,
really?
Have games and participate in championships.
Yeah.
So something like ice hockey, to have a all ladies women team, that's amazing. So yes, I do believe there is potential. The thing we struggle with, so we do have ladies only facilities. Dubai Ladies Club, place that I coach at right now, it's huge and it's always full and it's doing really well, and they keep adding classes or seeing what else is out there and what girls want, and it's all there. What we lack is, for example, having facilities that have so I have to go to Al Quoz for calisthenics, but then to do CrossFit, I have to go all the way to Ras Al Khor because that's where the ladies only gym is, and then, for example, I'd go to run in Dubai Ladies Club.
Right.
So
Wow.
how can I convince girls to come and join when they barely spend an hour in the gym?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So for me, I do that because I'm serious about my training.
Of course, yeah.
And I want girls to feel, so of course it comes from us. We have to have the determination, we have to have the will.
Yeah.
However, it doesn't help that I have to pay 3 memberships in 3 different places, just to be able to keep track of, my training or my performance.
It's difficult, right?
Yes.
Yeah, very difficult. One thing I want to ask you as well is, if you look at something like Dubai Ladies Club, that's known by the public to be quite Emirati oriented. What's the integration like between Emirati female sports people, not just on a CrossFit level, and the expats here?
Actually, Dubai Ladies Club is a very good example of integration or having multicultural people with multicultural backgrounds and ethnicities. In my classes, I've got 3 Emiratis and the rest are all non-Emiratis.
Amazing.
Yes.
So the integration is really cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 to 5 Emiratis, but then you have also 4 to 5 non-Emiratis.
Nice.
And they come from different countries. So even though women can, some non-Emiratis can train wherever they like, a lot of women still like to train with women.
Yes, sure.
So I've got people from Europe, like Italy and other places in Europe. In my classes, I've got people who are from all the, the Arab Peninsula. So it's not just Emiratis, which is lovely. I love that.
Which is super cool.
Yes.
And I think you're right there as well. It's not just a sometimes, again, the stereotype says that Emiratis want to stay together. It's not always that. It's like women actually like to train with women, and they don't want us big buff guys being idiots next to them. They just want to, it's not for every woman, but it's true. Let's jump into, you mentioned it before, and I think it's a big subject. Let's jump into social media.
Sure.
It's been huge for all of us in the fitness industry, outside of the fitness industry. Talk to us a little bit about the impact that it has had on Emirati and also Muslim sports women, because I think there's a big impact there, and you're at the front of it. So tell us how it's worked.
Sure. So when like I said, when I started CrossFit, a big part of that, or the exposure that I got, was mainly from social media.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I don't see CrossFit on Instagram anymore.
Yeah. Well, I spoke about that in a show a couple of weeks ago.
I feel lost, Marcus.
It's a very weird. Yeah. I one thing that. And I said it in that show, and I'm sure you've got some views on it. We sort of digress a little bit, but CrossFit are going in an interesting direction when it comes to mixing world issues with their sport and taking stances. We all know that Facebook and Instagram have all their data, and they screw around, and you search on your browser for one thing, the next thing it comes up and on your adverts on Instagram, and you're like, this is just freaky. But I think sometimes, like, it's good to leverage one against the other, but I miss seeing CrossFit in social media.
I
like
miss it.
it's
I feel so lost.
Especially because for you, well, for all of us, I think we sort of learn more about CrossFit through social media because that's the easiest place to get it. So
Agreed.
yeah, it is weird. But anyway, back to
yes,
women
back to women.
and how it goes.
So I wasn't alone. That was the best part about social media. I wasn't the only one who was crazy about like training or sports or CrossFit, or had difficulties wearing a hijab and running outdoors in the humidity. Like
we could talk about that for hours as well. I mean, it's such
I know. Like there's a lot of things that social media opened our eyes. I even saw other Emiratis like Amna bin Baha, Sheikh Al-Qasimi, other girls like me who were into weightlifting, were into cardio, were into other things. So it was social media started maybe the awareness for me. It was more like learning. So to me, and I think to a lot of us, it was about awareness. And until now, I find myself still talking about general like things like sports and nutrition, and reminding people and reminding women. I get a lot of questions from women and men as well, generally, about all these topics, and sharing it on social media. I don't want to say it's easy. It's not. It's a responsibility. For sure. I can't put content out there that is not relatable or not, for example, helpful, or is not sources, things like that. I can get into a whole discussion about that. Yeah. But you got to be careful, because you can't put something out there and then and then not actually stick to it, or actually have a source, some sort of logic behind it or evidence. Of course. Yeah. So like social media, I don't post my workouts on social media. Right. And everyone's like, but you're a coach, and that's what we do. We take pictures of these awesome PRs that we do and videos, and
doesn't everyone?
I realize that you don't need to post things like that. There are other women who do that, which is great. Yeah. You've got Manal Rustam who does that constantly. And just in the Arab, maybe in the community between amongst the Arab women or young women all over the world, seeing something like Manal finishing the Boston Marathon, that's just amazing to us, because it really inspires. It really gives me, for example, the ability to think further. Yeah. I did a 5K, maybe I can do a 10K, maybe I can do a half marathon, maybe I can do a full marathon, someday maybe do 30 marathons.
No, don't do that.
But it did play a big role in motivating, in creating awareness, and also in sharing experiences. Like a lot of girls ask me now, Abeer, what hijab do you wear to Spartan? Wow. What pants do you wear? What do you do? So I have to explain even to that much of detail, like, because everyone's clueless. Like, no one knows that I have to wear a men's sizes because they're a little bit more baggier maybe, or more comfortable, even cheaper sometimes, girls. So like, these things come up, and you kind of have to continue to remind girls, or continue to say these things, and that it's okay. I'm here if you want to try something new, something crazy. I'll come with you. We'll do it together.
Amazing.
Might not be as crazy as, doing, I don't know, skydiving, but to her, to this girl who has these concerns, these questions, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's what, again, just to give you some praise there, I think that's because you're so open on your social media and you're in so many places, you're helping so many people, you become so approachable. And like you say, if a girl just wants to go and run 2 or 3K, she might be in the same boat as you for 25 years, done nothing, and she's nervous to go to Kite Beach, but you've broken that down and you go to Kite Beach now and you run along Kite Beach, so it's easy for you to create that.
Agreed. So I always say, like, do what you love, even if it's something that is, it doesn't have to be something your friends do. Maybe all my friends do spinning, but I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy spinning. I'm not going to go do it just because my friends do it. Do what you like. Find out what it is and do what you love. You have questions, there's so many people out there who can answer them. I'll be the first one to help you find the answers.
That's amazing.
Another thing that I want to mention is social media also helped us create a community of runners for women.
Yes.
And you've seen them. So
they're amazing. They ran with me in my marathons. You guys were unreal.
So what with Marcus, what we did was we were about 7 or 8 girls. So we didn't have the capability to run 42K with him. So what we did is we split the kilometers to finish 42K together as a team.
It was amazing. So it was incredible.
Every a few kilometers, he'll see a new girl like jump in.
And that was the funniest thing because I knew it was happening, but the guys that were running with me didn't really know it was happening. And so every few K, a new girl, wearing the hijab, again, like you say, maybe a little bit baggier just for cultural sensitivities, would not jump out of a bush, but just come around the corner and start running. And the guys were like, Marcus, do you know this? Yeah, they're cool. They're my friends. It's all good. It was a really funny.
What other people would think. Actually.
Yeah, it was super, super interesting. One question I want to ask you about social media is, has it helped you with the older generation? For example, now, and where this question comes from, like my mum is 74. She started on Facebook about 4 or 5 years ago, and God bless her, she's now all over Instagram. And she'll message me saying, you said you're going here on your Instagram. I'm like, oh, Mum, you're watching my story the whole time. But has that also helped sort of change stereotypes and maybe change and make sport more acceptable for the younger generation of females?
Absolutely. It has changed, I guess, the mindsets, not only just on social media, mindsets in general have changed. More women are now participating in sports and in different sports, and maybe the other way around, where we used to do only ladies only competitions and runs. Now we join all community runs.
Wow.
Maybe not all of us. I still have a big following, and it could be maybe from the older generation where they're a little bit more traditional, where they'd still want to train in a ladies only setting. And I have been training women who are moms, grandmothers, maybe so it's lovely. And
that's
with
amazing.
The younger generation, I think it's amazing and it's important. I always say that something that we need to look at in our social maybe setting or in our communities is not having that sort of like inclusion with amongst youth, but we need to do it with amongst youth and the older generations or our seniors, because there's a huge gap right now because a lot of things changed. Technology-wise, education-wise, everything has changed. Our lifestyles have changed. So they might not feel as included as they used to. So, but we enjoy having them around, and they support. I think a part of that is also the Gov Games that we have in the UAE.
Amazing.
Government Games was an initiative that came up that was out there in Dubai, and it was launched by His Highness Sheikh Hamdan. So it got a lot of support. It got a lot of people. I think. To open up, and think, there's something beyond just training in public. It's not about, getting the wrong attention or any attention. It's more about just staying fit, continuing that kind of lifestyle, because let's face it, we have very high diabetes and cholesterol rates here in the UAE and in the Gulf. So how do we beat that? We spend a lot, the government spends a lot on healthcare and not in the right way. So there's a lot of things to think about if we're thinking about the future. having a future foresight in healthcare and well-being.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Yeah.
Even for mental health and just feeling good about yourself, I think,
Yeah.
especially with women. If you want to come and run and look like a Barbie, please do.
Yeah.
And if you want to come and run in baggy pants and baggy t-shirt and,
Yeah.
you know, do that. Come and run with us. And that's what I always say. Come train with me.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I think we all want to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I think that's part of being also with a group of girls. You start to feel like, okay, I can relate to this girl, I can relate to that. Or maybe not, but at least when we're there, we're all running towards a goal.
Yeah. I think that's something, I think it's really important, and I think it's overlooked a lot. Like we might see covered girls running with people and everyone's like, oh, that just looks a bit strange. But for me, when I see it, I'm like, okay, they're just females doing sport with me, just like I'd have my wife. And who cares? Like, I have people come to the gym and, oh, I've forgotten my trainers, I'm going to have to go home. I'm like, okay, just do the workout with no shoes. It doesn't matter. Like, do the workout in your suit. It doesn't matter. But I think sort of traditionally, and the more traditionalist, you know, no, it should be separate, it should be like this, you should always be like that. But I think, like you said, and people like you are leading the way, if we can break these barriers down as to what really, like, what should a young girl who's of Emirati origin, like, what should they be doing? They should be out enjoying.
Yes.
I'm not saying that they should be going to run clubs and trying to pick up guys. Like, you know, we understand that there's these differences, but I think if we create this platform, which you're helping to do, is it really is incredible.
Thank you. I'm really trying. I see a lot of other girls trying. We might not have the best communication skills sometimes, women with women, you know.
Yeah.
However,
I love it.
why not try? You know, like a lot of people just want to be involved in something.
Yeah.
You know, and sports does that.
Yeah, it
Having
definitely
a community, yes.
Let's talk a little bit about your profession now, because as you said, you work for the Sports Council. How did that come around, and is this part of your bigger vision for sport for all and sport for women? Because I'm sure it is. Tell us the story.
So, for a while, I did not. So once I left my job in the airline industry, I worked as a trainer and worked in a couple of gyms, did some freelance coaching, classes here and there, still took courses. Maybe grew my experience or grew out of it. For example, it's a new industry for me. I don't have the experience that others do in sports. I do have one thing though, I'm Emirati. I understand the struggle and I want other girls to overcome it way faster than I did.
Right.
And I want them to get into fitness way earlier than I did.
Amazing.
And that's the whole purpose behind the whole movement, or the way I thought about it was, all right, so I know that I started late, maybe not too late, but to me it feels late.
Yeah.
I know that we can do better. I know there's potential out there. Small things like running with a girl or training with her in the gym made a big difference, and it motivated this girl to continue to train.
Right.
Whereas other trainers, you just come, you train, you leave, it might not feel the same. So I think that was a big part of that transition from one industry to another.
For sure.
I had to build that. I had to learn. I had to be on my own to understand. And my parents were not happy about it very much.
Really?
Yes, I actually had to tell my father at some point that, Dad, your passion was that, and you did what you love.
Right.
This is my passion. This is what I love. Let me do it. You know?
And what the resistance at the start?
At first, there was resistance. Secure job and, you know, secure future and, you know. And then later on, the articles started to come out and my testimonials, things like that. Work was shown and my dad is a big fan of Emirati newspapers.
Right.
So there was this article once about something that I was doing at that time, I think training or CrossFit or something. And I remember I came back home and I find the article cut out on my bed, and it says a message from my dad, like, I'm proud of you, well done.
Wow.
And then I realized, okay, so he gets it now,
wow.
you know?
That must have been amazing, mate, for both of you.
It was, honestly. And
it's heartwarming for me. Like, that's just, you know, because it's a dream and you're doing it for such, you know, like you said, you gave up a career almost to pursue something that's a passion, and then you get this acceptance and wow.
So my vision, honestly, Marcus, for beyond what my career aspirations are, my vision is in the Emirati identity for all of us UAE nationals is to be athletic or sporty or healthy at a certain level or on that kind of meter.
Amazing.
So that is my vision, that every Emirati should be known as an athlete or an enthusiast in sports, something like that.
That's very cool. 2 more questions before we wrap up. I'm conscious of the time and you've given us so much information. It's so cool. The first question is, where will all this be? I won't say 10 years because who knows what will happen in 10 years, but fast forward 5 years, what do you see? Like, do you see big multi-use clubs, like you said, so that you don't have to travel this area? What do you see?
I see more acceptance, more tolerance for the inclusion of everyone in the community. So women, covered, non-covered, seniors, people with, for example, even having women who are pregnant in my class, in a CrossFit class.
Wow.
That would have never happened 5 years ago, Marcus.
Right.
And now I see that. I've trained women who were pregnant, Emirati women and non-Emiratis.
Amazing.
In CrossFit and in other sports as well. So I think that in 5 years, I think all that will be less and less of a concern, or we'll see less of maybe judgment.
Yeah, it becomes more normal.
More
it's
normal.
Okay.
It'll become a norm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I see that happening. I do see us taking Emiratis, or us as Emiratis taking recreational sports to another level, to a competitive level.
Awesome.
That's what I aspire to. That's what I'm trying to do in my job right now.
Wow.
So I think these 2 things, I think we'll see that happening in the future.
I can't wait to watch you do it. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be watching and I'm super excited. One last question, which we asked everyone, is you've had an incredible journey so far. You've learnt a lot. But if there's one piece of advice you could give to people, what would that? You can give them one single piece of advice from all your learnings. What would your advice be?
I think I would say take it one step at a time. Don't be so hard on yourself, and don't underestimate the daily routine.
Yeah.
And the daily workouts that you do.
Amazing.
It'll all be worth it.
Amazing. Abeer, you're very motivational for me, for a lot of people out there, and I think what you're doing is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thanks a lot for taking the time to speak to us. Maybe we won't leave it 5 years, but we'll definitely get you back in 18 months, 2 years, and just hear these. It's great. I love to hear the stuff that you're doing, because I think it's fantastic.
And thank you, Marcus, for being part of this and being part of the fitness movement, honestly, and putting all this out there. It means a lot. You're doing great. Thank you so much.
Abeer, thank you very much for joining us.
Welcome.
Thank you.